Hi, welcome back to the TAPCO Farm YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the different zones of land use, or really land reuse, that Ginny and I have been discussing and planning. So again, this is a land reuse project where we're taking this old industrial site and turning it into a thriving farm. So today I'm going to be using, again, Google imagery, as well as present day footage and photos, as well as historical photos, to walk you through the property and share a little bit more about our plans and the layout of the farm. So I'm going to start with this power plant. The power plant is the most distinctive feature of the whole property, mainly because of this intact 220-foot smokestack that you can see from miles. And if you've ever driven up Sycamore Canyon Road, you've likely seen it. This whole property is on the north side of the river, and very distinct. So this power plant was a oil-fired, steam-generating power plant that turned turbines to create electricity for smelter operations. It operated from 1917 to 1958 and was critical for mining operations in the area. Today, it is mostly a skeleton of the old building, and as I've mentioned in the previous episode, we are hopeful that down the road we will turn this into a venue, but that is not the priority at the moment, but hopefully in the future. Now, there was a lot of concern about the environmental history of this power plant. We have done independent testing at 8 different sites throughout the property, but also we have received a grant to conduct Phase 1 and Phase 2 ESA, that's Environmental Site Assessment, EPA studies. Those studies are ongoing, and we will continue to await the final results, although we're quite optimistic. Now, just due east of that is this 3-acre area right here. This is natural riparian habitat that we plan to keep as such. It will form this natural buffer between us and the river and really create a great habitat for local species. So in this area, it's mostly washes, lots of sand and gravel. You'll see mesquite as well as cottonwoods. Just north of that is this 2-acre section of the property. It's in the red here. This is where we're going to have our first vineyard block. Now, this area still has a fair amount of tree of heaven we're going to have to eradicate, as well as mesquite we'll be clearing. But in general, the soil is a sandy loam, and we think with a southern aspect, so we think it's going to be a pretty good spot for wine grapes. Due west of that is this blue area, calling a staging area. This is where most of the infrastructure of the current property is, whether that's power, the old family's farm or house, and as well as some other infrastructure. For example, there's some telephone poles and other infrastructure for APS. Now, we're planning to use this area mostly for staging different activities, whether that's our biochar program we're planning to have, where we take most of the waste or all the trimmings and whatnot from the trees and the removal of the trees, and burn that in a low oxygen environment to create biochar. Or we are also planning to get like a concrete crusher, and there's a few concrete stem walls and pads throughout the property we need to remove, and instead of hauling that away, we're going to process it and utilize it for the different areas around the farm. So this is a little over an acre, and it will be continue to be some development, likely also where we might have a barn or two. Now, a little further west of that, this purple area, this is what we're calling kind of the main house sites. This area is a little more elevated, so it's got great views. It's also more out of the floodway and floodplain, so that'll be good for housing. Right now it has one double wide trailer on it, and a garage and a carport. And this will probably be the main site for a family site or home, as well as some farm stays over here towards the west on a little higher perch. Should be a really nice area. Due south of that is a little over an acre area of pasture, what we call pasture. This is where Ginny's going to do her farming. This is the lowest area of the whole parcel or property, as well as the flattest, and it's likely been flooded more than other places. So the soil here, as you can tell maybe in this green area, is fairly rich. There are a couple concrete pads we're going to have to remove out of here from old infrastructure. Now going east from there, you'll go across this access road and to another about 1 acre, or a little less than an acre parcel or block. This we are probably going to leave untouched for now. This might be an area for parking for a venue, or it might be more farming or vineyard. So we're not really going to do too much with it right now. We're going to leave it as is until we can we have further plans. So now, underlying all this is what I think is probably the most valuable part of this whole property, and that is this ditch. This is a mile-long concrete ditch. In that first video that we shot, we were sitting in the ditch just over here due east of the property where we're clearing it out. And this ditch is our source of water from the Verde. So about a mile down the ditch, you've got this point of diversion right here, and this is where all the water comes into the ditch and to the property. And as you can tell, this ditch runs right through the heart of the property, and because of this, we feel this is going to be a really relatively easy parcel or property to irrigate. And we've got really old and really expansive water rights, quite a bit of water rights. So we are fairly confident that this is going to be one of the more valuable parts of this property, being this ditch. So one of the videos we've got coming up soon is the work to clear the ditch. We've got about a 1/4 mile of ditch to clear, where there's mud that has been accumulating below one of the gates. So that's for the future, but it has been some of the physical work we've been doing lately. All right, so that is our the layout of the different zones of the area, and really excited to share more and some of the work we've been doing in future videos. But for now, that's our layout, and I hope it's helpful to give you context about the farm and about what we're up to.